Alright, hello everyone, I'm Tim Trollgasm. I'm going to be running Night Watch for you. I'm going to be joined on commentary by Mr. Zom Slays and Mr. Diggity Ding Dong.
Yo, yo.
So, time on this one is going to start on first input. Usually we started on the first frame after the fade in, but because this game has no main menu, when we load it, it just takes us straight into the intro sequence. So I'll give Sin a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, this one is very short, very quickly. It's also got horrible tank controls. So, I'm going to do my best. It is one of the few puppet combo games that is actually faster to use controller with because of interacting with certain objects and items and stuff like that. You get like a physical cursor when you're using a mouse, and it's actually just faster to just use the controller because it automatically sets the default to yes. Now, I'm not a fan of using the tank controls on the controller, so I'm actually using a hybrid of controller and keyboard at the moment. It's a very straightforward game. Basically, you have to do task to get to other task. And you saw there that was having to use the mouse because the game decided to spaz out on me. So basically, you're Jim, and you're working at this watchtower you're a park ranger. And as you just saw, our power went out, and now we've come to what is quite possibly the worst part of the game: tank controls on a very tight staircase. It is very easy to get caught on these stairs, and takes a lot of practice. Okay, and then we can cut the stairs down a bit earlier here, so we don't have to then we get caught on that random leg of the tower that's just floating for some reason. Okay, we're going to go into this shed here, and we're going to pick up a disc, which is a PC game, and then we're going to pick up this gas can so we can refill the generator.
More gas cans.
More gas cans. All the gas cans. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately there's no real major skips in this game. You're essentially blocked from running to the end game until you do every possible task that you have to do at the watchtower. And that involves going up and down the stairs a few times, which is kind of gross.
Here we go again. If you see Tim running into the walls, that's completely natural. If you play this game, you'll know how bad it is. This is actually good gameplay. Combine like really awkward camera positions plus these tank controls and using a controller. If you're using a controller, it becomes a nightmare.
Okay.
Still solid though.
Okay, so now we go back up here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in this floppy disk into this computer here, and it's a very simple game. Essentially, it's like one of those text-based games, and we're basically going through a maze. And the trick is you start going north, and then you just keep going in a direction until it gives you the option of turning around or going into like an east or a west direction. So obviously we went north until we couldn't go north anymore. Now we're going west. It's going to do that until the options are, east or south, and then we obviously go south because that's the only way to go without backtracking. And thankfully, you only need to punch in the first letter of each direction. It's kind of like that Simpsons joke with the YES. Okay, then we hear a knock on the door. We go investigate it.
Spooky.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing there. What's going on? Better go downstairs and check it out.
This is what's scary about this run.
Yeah, this is the horror aspect. Yeah. So
the stairs.
Night Watch was, and I don't think I mentioned it at the start of the run, is one of the Patreon exclusive puppet combo games. So the only way to get this game is to sign up to the Patreon. But it's a really fun game casually. Okay, so we're going to go back in here, and then we're immediately going to turn around and open the door, and then there's a firefighter there who just randomly has an axe and has a crack at us. But, surprise, surprise, it was a dream. Okay, and there are a few different ways in the game. There's actually multiple ways to do that sequence. We're going to go outside now, He's going to put on his raincoat, and then we're going to immediately turn around and go back inside. But going down and investigating that shed is actually the fastest way to do it. Another one involves the tower getting set on fire, and it's a whole thing. Now we just get a call from someone, they're in distress, and now we've done everything that we need to do to actually get rid of that barrier that's stopping us from running to the end of the game. So this is the last instance of the stairs.
Oh, that was just... Oh my god.
Yeah, this is what we're saying, like the camera angles and tank controls and tight spaces, it can be gross.
So we're going out to investigate a SOS call
Yes.
from the forest.
Yep. Yeah. And then I went the wrong way. That's what happens. So yeah, now this is... Normally the game would stop you about here, and you'd be like, oh, I can't leave my post. But now we get treated to about 2 minutes of hold W to game. But we also get really nice calming music and the sound of rain, so it's like that whole ASMR kind of deal. There is a point where it will branch off into 2 paths, and in a casual playthrough, you'll see like a picnic basket on the ground. It's kind of flashing, and you'll go, oh, what's that? I better check that out. And that leads you to some random little shack, and there's like all pentagrams and satanic imagery and stuff like that. But we don't need to investigate that. We can just run straight to the campsite. I'm trying to hang as far to Jim's left as possible, just because there's a little section coming up where you can sort of weave in between some of the trees, and it cuts off maybe half a second of time.
You've got to take time saves where you can in this one.
Exactly, yeah.
Otherwise, there's just stairs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can actually run up fairly straight surfaces, as Dig worked out. So these
these mountains.
Yeah.
If you just walk up the side of them, you just zip up the side. Like, I don't know why that wasn't tested, but you can like walk almost just over the mountain. It's so funny. The walls aren't actually walls in this game. There's a lot of indie horror games that are just poorly coded slopes that let you just jump up them. Like In Sound Mind was a pretty big game. It's not Puppet Combo, but that game can be torn like inside out just because you can jump up vertical slopes.
Yeah. So this is the part I was talking about now. If you hang to the left of that tree, you can, and not run into the other tree, you can actually cut out just a little bit of time from movement. And so the rain's going to stop in just a moment, because we're getting pretty close to the campsite. I think it's in the next load zone it'll stop. But this part here especially is where you can just like zip up the mountainside. I would show it off, but I'm not going to.
I'm not going to, yeah. Arguably, this is like one of my favorite parts of the run, just because you get away from the tower, and it's just nice and peaceful, and you're just running for a bit.
Just to get as far away from the stairs as possible.
As far away from the stairs as possible. Yep. Stairs are disgusting. So yeah, we're almost done with the boring section. So there's I think it's a backpack on the ground there. It's like, oh, what's going on? But we don't need to interact with it. It's just to be like, oh, you're going in the right way, in the right direction.
Follow the clues.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, rain stops. And then we're just going to keep following this track until we get to the campsite. And there's a barrier stopping us from going further into the woods. Now, to get that barrier to go away, we have to investigate all 3 of the tents that are at the campsite here. Bit of clothing there, so you're like, oh, some serious stuff has gone down. But this is one of the easier Puppet Combo games to learn in terms of routing. The stairs are a bit disgusting, but in terms of like memorizing the run, it's so straightforward. Yeah. And like even your first couple of runs are going to be about 12, 13 minutes. So interact with that one.
Most of these games are just walk to point.
Well, that's
interact,
right. Yeah.
Walk to next point, interact. Not that it's not interesting, but that's just really easy to route.
Yes. Yeah, so there's no like actual glitches in this game that have been found anyway. So we've interacted with all 3. The third one here is like, oh no, there's blood. What's going on? We're just going to sort of float around here for a second until we hear a child calling out for help. So we're going to follow that sound. Time is coming up very soon. As soon as the Driller Killer attacks gym is when we call time. There is like a bit at the afterwards, but it's just you standing in a cell for 5 minutes or something, 3 minutes, so we don't count that. So time will come up and time. So that was Night Watch.
GG's. Well done.
That was a good run.
Yeah, it was.
That felt really good, yeah. So
that's
yeah.
sub 9.
I don't know, was it?
It was very close. It was
Very close.
What's the world record?
World record is 9:12.
Oh wow! You actually.
Wait, that might have been world record. Oh no, it's close. Oh, it's close.
So close.
What's
GG.
final time?
9:28. Oh,
Ah,
Hold on.
close. Damn.
Yeah.
128. That was good.
I forgot what the stream. I'm an idiot.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna switch over to another game. So I'll be back in just a moment.